Hello, everybody. So, as I said yesterday, I'm going to be on grand jury for the next couple of days, and we still want to make progress on thinking about and outlining and organizing our essay that we're going to be writing. So, every day I'm going to try to give you something concrete to work on, something specific, so we don't get too overwhelmed. Yesterday in class, we worked on our introduction. And some of you finished, and some of you still have a little bit of work to do, and some of you still have the outline but don't exactly know which source you're going to put in. And all of those steps, all of those places we are is okay. You're welcome to continue working on that. But today I am going to talk about our next step. I'm going to try to keep it simple. So while it's straightforward, this is a really important step. And so we definitely want to work on it today, maybe tonight for homework, and it's probably going to be a focus of tomorrow's work as well. So we have our introduction. We know that we needed to provide like context and an overview of the topic and problem. We might use statistics from a source. We might define some ideas, like what doctors define ADHD as, or how large is the problem that we're talking about. Things that you learned through research and reading your sources. At this point, really quickly, I was looking back and I wanted to remind everybody that you also did some preliminary research a few weeks ago where you found additional sources, and they did not, many of them I was looking at were really great sources. And so don't forget about your preliminary research that you did. You can certainly use that in your paper as well. So we also, in addition to the context and overview, we made sure that if it worked for us, we were going to put a stimulus source in our introduction section. And so most people like to get that done. That takes care of rubric row 1 pretty quickly. If you want to use your stimulus source, this is one of the 8 sources that we use to inspire our ideas. You can use that in the introduction. You can also use it in other parts of the paper, but most students prefer it here. It works for them. Then we also need to make sure our research question was clear. And then we need to flip that around and answer the question with a central claim, all right, or a thesis statement, however we want. This is going to be our argument. This is literally what we're arguing for. So if you don't have this part done or in your head, this is where you need to stop, and this is what you need to tackle today. It's really important. How could you build an argument if you don't know what you're arguing? The argument isn't new. It's going to be based on the ideas that you saw in your research. It's going to be based on your own ideas and based on what the answer to your question is. And so that's really important, and I'm going to be looking tonight to see that, and in your work, that you have this done. And don't be afraid of it. Just tackle it. Like, you got this. Don't overthink it. You can always kind of switch it up a teeny bit later. The wording isn't even the most important part. It just should be clear what you're arguing. So, if you have all that, and some of you do, what do we do next? Well, instead of just straightforward going and continuing to outline all of our sections and all of that stuff, no, what we're going to do instead is take a pause and do something very important. First, it's literally to figure out what sections are our supporting claims. All right, we're going to want a couple of different supporting claims that build our argument, that support our central claim. And so these can be a lot of different things for a lot of different questions. They can be things where you prove something's a big problem, right? If you're saying, to what extent is ADHD an issue in schools, you can say one of the issues is it's a big issue for academic success, and then maybe you have a bunch of sources or a few of them that talk about that. So that could be one of your supporting claims. Another reason could be that you are that there's been a lot of debate in your topic, and you want to explore that debate to eventually support your argument. So your job today is to figure out what your supporting claims are. Okay, we don't need 800 of them. We need 2, maybe 3 supporting claims that build your argument. That is it. That is the main thing. If we figure out what are the 2 to 3 reasons to support my argument out there, we are in a good place. Now, if I want to pause for a moment and say, like, get your ideas down on paper and then we can talk about them. If everything's blank, remember, I can't look at things, I can't give feedback on things, I can't tell you if you're going in the right direction or the wrong direction. So I would like to see some of those things. The second step, and probably the additionally most important thing, is to really go back to your research today. Go back to your research. All right, bring all of your sources up. Bring up your annotated bib, bring up just all of your sources on Zotero, whatever you want. And you need to figure out where are your sources going in your paper. All right, and then if you have that figured out, all right, what are some quotes that we could include? If you, in your outline, figure out what your supporting claims are going to be, and if you also then figure out where are your sources going to go, do they belong all together in, like, do 2 or 3 of them kind of speak to each other and support each other in one grouping? Well, that can be one of your supporting claims. Do they give alternate information, like different perspectives? That could be a rebuttal or a second supporting claim where you explore the complexity of your issue. I'm not going to pretend that this is easy, but it is simple. Your tasks are to figure out what are your supporting claims today, and then you have to figure out where your sources are going to go in your paper. You have roughly 10 to 13 sources if you put everything together. And so you want to use as many of those in your paper throughout. If you have a good source that has a lot of good information that you think could belong in 2 different places, yes, you can use a source multiple times. But we want to make sure that our sources are used throughout the paper, and we want to use a variety of sources. So that means more than 1 or 2 sources in our paper. So this is our challenge today into tomorrow. If we enter Thursday, kind of knowing what our outline of our supporting claims are and where our sources are going to be. And then if we even have like an idea of, oh man, these are some quotes I could include, I can copy them, paste them. I from my notes, I highlighted them earlier and I think they're good. Copy and paste them in there. Then we'll be good to go. All right, so that is our job today. Our job is to move forward in our outline by mapping out which supporting claims we think we should put in our argument and where our sources could go. That's probably a full day to maybe 2 full days of real thinking if you really get at it. So focus on today's work. Please maintain a quiet work environment so everyone can move forward. And so then on Friday, we can really push forward and succeed. All right, I will be checking in everybody's progress this evening and giving comments if I feel they're needed. Have a good day. I'll talk to you later.